I believe that like traditional loyalty management processes are just really outdated. So we need to really think about how we can improve our service, how we can improve our product, how we can become more customer centric, taking into account everything is customers trying to say about us.
Hello and welcome to the AI Master Group podcast, featuring the people who are building the future of AI in their work today. I'm your host, Jim Griffin. Today I am very happy to have as my guest Max Mozgovoy, who's the co-founder of VoxDiscover. Prior to that, he was the managing partner of Segment Value, located in the Netherlands. And prior to that, he's been the head of CRM and analytics at any array of companies, including banking and telco, e-commerce, education, gaming, internet media. I probably left something out. Max has got his master's degree from the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology in Computer Science, but he also holds an MBA from Kingston University in London. Welcome, Max.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me. It's really nice to be here.
It's very nice to have a chance to meet with you, Max. I know you've done quite a bit of work at about a dozen different companies, as I mentioned just now, mostly involving technology targeted at customer loyalty and CRM objectives. Can you tell me about any common themes that you might have noticed across brands?
Yeah, absolutely. Different brands are trying to manage the CRM processes through data, and there are like multiple problems connected to that. So like they're trying to figure out who the customers are only with the data they own, but essentially what I figured out that it is just not enough. So you need to really get closer to your customers to understand what's going on and how they feel about your product, how they feel about your service, and so on. So your internal data is not something that you can 100% rely on. So you need external data sources to actually manage the loyalty and satisfaction of your customers.
Interesting. The need for external data sources. So, do you foresee any important changes in interacting with customers in the future as a result of AI, keeping in mind this lens of the need for external data sources?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I feel that in the nearest future, more and more interactions with the customers will go through the AI services or AI agents that will help to clarify who your customers are and how they react on particular changes in your setup on some additional features on some ad campaigns or some other things that you're trying to present and trying to kind of push to the market. So like you need to have this feedback loop for every customer, and that is really essential in the AI age. So you need to create these AI agents that can help you to communicate with your customers, and only with this information you can get 100% like 360 degree picture of your customer base. So that's how I feel.
So, feedback loop and the use of AI agents. So, this is very much top of mind for a lot of people in CRM and loyalty. So, it sounds like you might have a startup there on your hands. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We have like an interesting startup, and we want to focus on the AI voice agents. And the idea is to get the feedbacks from your customers in different channels. So it can be like in-app channel, it can be web, it can be phone calls. So anything like that. So like you can gather the information about your customers. You can embed all this technology into your, for example, like mobile app, or maybe you want to embed this technology into your website. So the idea is to have like a really fluent AI speaking uh, agents who can really do well in terms of like researching your customer base, figuring out what's right and what's wrong with your customers. And depending on the different life cycle stage, it can gather a different sets of questions, and the idea is to get the different questions depending on the context. So we can ingest the context, we can really understand the customer as well, and we can really integrate with the with your CRM solutions or with your internal database to enrich the understanding of your customer. And based on this context, we can customize the set of questions that we wanted to ask. So like that is really important to have, let's say, really like multifaceted view of your customers during the different stages of the customer life cycle. And then when you can have all this information at hand, our platform will automatically generate the insights about particular segments of your customer base, about a particular persona. So it will get you several sets of personas. And then based on these personas, you can really see different things about how these personas are behaving and how they feel about your app or your service or whatever. So that is the, in essence, the things that VoxDiscover is doing right now.
And the word vox in there, of course, is Latin root, describes audio or voice. So you're talking about something that's happening in an audio context. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like VoxDiscover is like discovering the voice of the customer. And that's what we want to do. Like Vox is Latin for voice, and we want to focus on the understanding the customer more, discovering the voice of the customer, understanding what's going on with the customers, and do it at scale. So the problem is right now it's difficult to do the full-scale customer research, and it's super expensive. So like you can imagine that the customer research, let's say, can cost you like real thousands of dollars or euros. And when you want to really go deep into the details about how your customer is actually feeling, you need to really talk to them. It's not just a regular surveys. You need to go to in-depth. You need to do like in-depth interview, and that's why our AI voice agents come in handy. Basically, they really can interview your customers, do the in-depth customer analysis, customer interviews, like customer research. Based on this feedback, they can aggregate and analyze everything they say about your company, about your products, about your services, and so on. And most of all, it's not something like you need to hire your customer through some external service. You can do it right in your app or right in your service, right in your website. So you don't need to really spend a lot of dollars to hire your customers and uh, pay a lot for organizing this research. So like the idea is to make it really like a process that will happen every day in your company. So like it is continuous process that is happening every time that you need when you need the feedback from your customer base.
It seems to me, and this is just Jim Griffin thinking, you haven't said this to me, but I'm imagining if I'm the chief marketing officer, that what you're creating for me in few words is another listening channel. I'm probably not going to turn off my focus group discussions. I'm probably not going to stop listening to social media channels and doing sentiment analysis and so forth there. I may have, but I might not turn off any of my traditional survey tools. But you're creating for me another listening channel that's a lot richer, and it's not apparently that expensive to turn on, that is more like a focus group discussion, more interactive, and it might be quite interesting to add that. That's kind of how I would think of it if I was the CMO.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. That's correct view.
Hmm. So I visited the website just now, and I see several use cases that you're targeting, including market research, as is implied here. Can you tell me more about this opportunity that you might be creating for market leaders, maybe in your own words rather than my expression of what I think you're doing?
Yeah, basically, we want to automate the process of getting the customer research, let's say market research, satisfaction analysis, all the different types of different kinds of research that we want to do, and we want to focus on particular in the customer analysis, like in-depth customer analysis. So like if you will have something like a user experience research, when you want to build customer journey maps, when you want to build the actual user flow, you need to have the feedbacks from your customers during the different stages of their customer life cycle or their customer journey.
You're listening to the AI Master Group podcast.
You need to have the feedbacks from your customers during the different stages of their customer life cycle or their customer journey. So that's how we can fine-tune our AI voice agent to ask different questions based on the different stage of your life cycle, of the customer life cycle. And that means like we can aggregate it also based on the customer life cycle and the customer journey stage to generate like perfectly uh, well-grounded customer journey map and customer personas and in-depth research out of it without hassle. So like what we need to do is basically just push the button, record the voice, and actually interact with the customer and let customer interact with the AI voice agent, and then all other happens, let's say, automatically.
Hmm. Well, this is very interesting because now what you're talking about is that moment when a team is developing something or deciding what's going to be the next iteration in that. Usually there's this first stage when we create a wireframe, let's say for a new app or a new generation of an app. And maybe I've got a design thinking team and we'd pull in users to try out a prototype of the app that we're building. We ask them to describe what they're doing and what they're thinking as they're doing that, and are they encountering any what's their stream of thought, and we record that whole session. And so that happens up front, and then we roll out the product, and we sometimes see the vendor say something like, "Have a nice day. Let's meet again in a year." So what you're describing is something, it sounds to me like it could be a little bit more continuous, checking, and it also could be a little bit more, that, like you were saying, that's very expensive to do that stuff. And so if we could introduce that voice of the customer in every little iteration that we do, that could be a little different from the way I think I've seen this done in the past. Is that what you're creating there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. kind of having the pulse of your users, and not just with the, let's say, like a quarterly research, or let's say kind of, annual research that you are doing, but you need to do it like constantly. You need to also not just survey and ask like your customers like to fill in some boring surveys which are no one wants to fill in, because actually it's really boring, it's time consuming, and it's quite interesting to talk to actual AI agent to kind of interact uh, and talk and understand what AI agents want to ask you, maybe to understand how you can really help the organization to change. So if you feel this need to help the organization to change its product, to change its service, you want to really kind of have the interface. And the problem that right now the customers don't have such an interface. So like they cannot, of course, they can do the reviews, they can post some messages in the social media or something like that, but actually just a minority of the customers are actually doing that. So like a small minority is really willing to do all these feedbacks. Maybe when they're angry, when they're dissatisfied, when they want to really complain about something. So like that is the problem, and we don't need to push it to this point, to the point when they really need to complain in social networks, right? So like you need to fix it even before that, and to fix it before that, you need to really have the channel or have the interface when your customers can talk to your company, and you can react really quickly. And that is like a next step in all customer management process. And of course, loyalty depends on that as well. So I believe that like traditional loyalty management processes are just really outdated. So we need to really think about how we can improve our service, how we can improve our product, how we can become more customer-centric company with these feedbacks, taking into account everything is customers trying to say about us.
So that's the mission of the company. And the vision is to be a more customer centric company, more responsive. So obviously there's this Gen AI component, but I'm thinking that there may be some other technologies that are, for you, more enablers. Like you probably need streaming video as an enabler. I don't know. Is that a good guess?
Yeah, yeah, it's possibly one of the applications of this technology as well. So we can also stream video, we can also create like avatars and so on, but maybe it's a bit of a next step.
I see. Not necessary. It's not necessary to have the vision of somebody that looks like a human being talking to you, as long as you can hear their voice, which is why you said vox and not whatever the Latin word for face is.
Yeah, we can do streaming again. So like theoretically, we can do, let's say, we can embed the actual something like an avatar of your company. But right now, you can just upload the image and the animation of someone who you can talk to, and that is enough to have a meaningful dialogue already.
Okay. So let's break this down. So there's a voice agent that's interacting. It's basically an avatar. And the truth is, you and I know there are already solutions that do that part. So that part surely isn't your competitive advantage or secret sauce. On the other hand, I know, and we know from the introduction, that you've got domain expertise and that you're targeting some specific niche markets. For example, developing an app and so forth, or updating an app, making sure that the user experience and the journey is correct. So is that where your competitive advantage comes in? Is that domain knowledge and applying it to the specific domain?
Yeah, I have this domain knowledge about the how to better interact with the customers, how to understand and create the research and extract some insights out of this research. So this is the our main competitive advantage. So we are not just having the agents, we are trying to apply them in a way to create the maximum benefits for your company. So like therefore we can help to customize this workflow, customize the agents, customize the appearance and the tone of voice and the dialogue and the set of questions, all that. So it's not the like just the super easy process at first, but when you have the when you will do it, let's say several times, it will become like super easy for you. Yeah.
Hmm. So curious, where are you with your funding cycle? Are you raising money currently?
Not yet. We are working with the potential clients and with the clients to actually to establish our market presence because we are at the early stage currently. And yeah, we are mostly bootstrapping right now, but we are considering the uh, kind of potential interest from the VCs, from the investors. And yeah, if you're interested in helping us in basically partnering with us, just welcome. I will be helpful to talk, happy to talk to you, and yeah, that is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. In regard to bootstrapping, I'm thinking again, this is just me thinking, but I happen to understand that space is that there are third party application development teams located in geographies like India, for example, that might potentially use your solution to differentiate themselves because obviously you're pre-seed. So most of their competitors won't know about your solution yet. So if your technology gets added to a scope of work, then the competition might not be able to quite understand how they were able to price that way, which could be kind of interesting for a third party developer. And so, yeah, I could see how what the first wave of your bootstrap might look like. I'm just imagining. So I know you've got a website, but if someone wants to reach out to you directly, how should they do that?
Yeah, they can reach me via the LinkedIn, so they can find me with my profile like Max Mozgovoy. So it's easy. Also, they can just go to our website voxdiscover.com and yeah, leave a message, and I will certainly mm, get in touch with you. Yeah, that's mainly the key ways of doing that.
Well, Max, this has been great. I've really learned a lot. You've caused me to rethink about the whole process of app development and UX. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here.
You've been listening to the AI Master Group podcast. I'm your host, Jim Griffin. Until next time, stay curious and stay in front.